friends, welcome back to a new video. This is your reminder that you have nothing to worry about. The most powerful thing you can do right now is to be patient with yourself while doing your best and letting the universe do the rest. So I've made this video with the number 1111 because in numerology, number 11 is known as the visionary. Because the 11 has within the power to manifest, which means to focus upon what you desire until it becomes reality. So I want to give you this important message today, which is deeply related to that power of manifestation, to awaken that ability of a visionary where you can see your future and you trust the process that everything is always working in your favor. So there are a few reminders I want to share with you today. And the first one is that you're always gravitated towards what you care the most. So it means that when we start caring about health, for example, more than we care just about comfort zone and pleasures, life will start gravitating us towards knowledge we need to learn, how to be more active, how to start living healthier, how to think healthier thoughts, what are healthier habits, how can we improve the quality of our sleep, and so on, right? How could we nurture the healthy cells within our bodies? So we are always gravitated towards what we care the most. Once we start caring more about abundance and love and understanding and care, life will start leading us into this direction. So I just want to remind you here to pay attention to what you truly care about the most on the conscious and subconscious level. So what it means that on a conscious level, we may say like, I truly care about financial freedom. But on the subconscious level, what we are doing, we are lazy and we actually care about more of the short-term pleasures than putting time into learning something which can help us to experience financial freedom. For example, right? So we need to align this conscious and subconscious beliefs with our intentions, with what we want to experience. And that's where we truly become aware of what is helping us to grow, what is helping us to evolve, and what is just poisoning our minds. So, for example, certain information, certain things which are just not helpful for any evolution when it comes to our lives, those are the things which are poisoning our minds. And whatever is poisoning your mind will also trigger those unpleasant, heavy emotions where you start comparing yourself with others, you start judging yourself, you start self-sabotaging, and often people lose themselves in the sensations and then they start identifying themselves with those thoughts and those emotional sensations. So, my friends, declutter your mind and truly pay attention to what you care the most. And is that thing that you care the most about aligned with who you want to become? Once you make it clear, it's much easier to build a discipline in our lives so we can every single day walk that path with a mission, with a passion, with a great joy. Because, whatever we set our mind to will become much easier to achieve when we are truly clear and we declutter all other noises which are not helping us to get there. So, a reminder that you are always gravitated towards what you care the most. And when you make the best out of it, the whole universe will help you to take care of the rest. So on the conscious level, it's sometimes hard to understand it, right? How can universe take care of all the rest? But the thing is, our mind is so limited. We can't think about all possible potentials that can happen. We can't think about all possible ways how results can find us. And at the same time, we can't truly imagine how many lessons we need to learn before we will receive what we want to receive. So the message is always that it's not about receiving, it's not about results. It's about seeing the path, knowing what we want, and walking the path. Because while walking the path, we are gaining experiences. We are finding what we couldn't think before, what we couldn't imagine. And that's where we are seeing the mysteries of life. Sometimes life can be truly interesting. Like so many different synchronicities may find us out of nowhere, and we could truly not imagine those things. And that's where we realize, well, I couldn't think about it, I couldn't imagine that, but it happened. Like, I was never thinking that I will do what I'm doing now, for example, sharing these videos and combining my art with this kind of messages. I was never thinking about it, but I'm doing it now with great joy and passion, which is something truly great, because if I would be just focusing in the past on, financial freedom or living a life of joy, doesn't matter. I was never been able to see what I'm doing now, because sometimes life happens truly interestingly, but it is always leading you deeper into your purpose, into your mission. So remember that you're always gravitated towards what you care the most. So make sure that what you care the most will be something that is truly sparking that love, joy, gratitude within your heart, because whatever will find you on that journey will just awaken more of those sensations. The second reminder I want to give you here is to create space for positive changes. This one is truly important, because sometimes we just need to empty our cups so we can fill them with knowledge which can help us to live a life we want to live. And to empty our cups, it means that sometimes we are full of thoughts, right? Full of thoughts, constantly thinking. That monkey mind is always active. And that's what is actually not allowing us to learn something new we need to know, to become who we need to be, to become who we need to be, to experience what we want to experience. So, to empty our cup means that we are decluttering our minds, which means that on a daily basis we use certain practices which can help us to unpoison our minds, to declutter our minds from the thoughts which are not serving us. And those may be certain negative thoughts, certain stories we are telling to ourselves, why we are unworthy, why we can't achieve something. Have you noticed that, for example, you go on vacation and you detach from many different sources of information, suddenly your mind becomes more peaceful, more clear, and suddenly you become more happier, you become more creative, you become more passionate about certain things, and suddenly you start thinking what you want to do in life and what you want to create. And then you get back home and you turn on again all those different sources of information. You get back to work, and again, many different information start bombarding you, and suddenly you lose all those heartfelt desires and aspirations and all of that. So it's not that you've lost them. You've just suppressed them with all the unnecessary information. And of course, not all the time we can declutter everything. But at our free time, at the times where it's possible, we can always choose between meditation or walk in nature or doing something that sparks a lot of joy, or scrolling on the phone, on news, reading other things, whatever it is. So be wise with your choices, because the universe always supports you. But if you're all over the place, it's really hard to help you, right? So it's like you're constantly giving different directions, so how somebody can find you? So pay attention to that and empty your cup, so it can be filled with what can help you on that path. Sometimes intuition will fill your cup. And when intuition is filling up our cups, our minds become truly clear, and we experience that great sensations of clarity, moments of understandings. Okay, yes, that's what I want. Oh, this is what I will do right now. So to me, it is an important reminder. Often work on emptying your cup, and you can actually know that your cup is too full if you feel emotionally truly overwhelmed. Because the thing is, when our mind is empty, when our mind is peaceful and in harmony, we also feel peaceful and in harmony. We are deeply grounded, but at the same time, we are open for new ideas and opportunities, and our imagination is really pure, so we can find so many powerful solutions to our daily problems or challenges. So it is something truly powerful. The third reminder I want to give you here is that you can adapt well to any situation. You can adapt well to any situation. Just don't lose your focus. So it means that whatever you are moving through, it was there for you. Those are your lessons. So focus on where you're going. Focus on what you're creating. Because, often people are wondering how to let go of worries, how to let go of negative beliefs, how to let go of what is not serving me. And the real answer is, well, stop focusing on that. And of course, then we are wondering how to stop focusing on it, how to stop thinking about a blue flower. More we focus on it, more we are thinking about it. So we rather than focus on something that is not serving us anymore, we focus on what we want to create. And in the past, it helped me so much to raise my energy when I started painting, and I wanted to see growth with my art on my social media and later on this YouTube channel. So I was not just visualizing how everything is growing. More than that, I was working on that. I was painting every single day. I was making videos. I was producing content. I was creative every single day. And that helped me to stay focused on what I want to build rather than all the thoughts and ideas and reasons why it can't grow. So you see, we just change our direction of attention, and that's what helps us to let go of what is not serving us anymore. So remember that you can adapt well to anything, because we are adaptive creatures. We can adapt to anything, but where our mind will stay, that's what we'll feel most of the time. So pay attention that you stay focused on what you want to create, and that you make sure that you do the best you can in anything you do, and the universe will do the rest, right? So make sure that you will stay focused on what you want to create. Another reminder that I want to give you here, which is to me truly important, is to never settle for what you actually don't want. Because you get what you settle for, right? When you agree or accept something that you don't want, it's a great possibility that you will stay there. And often when people stay at situations where they actually don't want to be, they fall into these negative perceptions about themselves, because they start to believe that they are unworthy. They start to believe that things they want to create in their lives are just not possible for them because it didn't work. But the thing is that when we start raising our standards and we start following our dreams and deep heartfelt desires, we start overcoming what we've settled for before. We start overcoming it, and this is where we put a lot of effort into work. So for many people it is unpleasant, but it is so rewarding. Actually, everything that is unpleasant is always rewarding. So my friends, there's always support for you. You're always supported. So just make sure, like I said before, that you do your best in whatever you're doing, and never settle for less. Another reminder that I want to give you here is to know that every prayer or intention is always heard. Sometimes the problem is that people focus on certain expecting answers. Like they expect how they would receive answers from the universe, and they may appear a bit differently and they miss them. So the thing is that you stay open for synchronicities and signs which are always all around you. The universe is actually communicating with you through synchronicities. So if you can recognize synchronicities in your life, see the answers of your prayers within them. It will increase your trust and it will help you to believe even more into your own power. Trust your power because you have everything you need to make it happen, whatever you're working on. Also, another reminder I want to give you here is that the activities and places that fill you with joy are the activities and places where your intuition wishes you to be. So this is something that I've learned in the past. Sometimes people say you can't just do things you're joyful about, you also need to do hard things, and that's true. But through the activities that fill us with joy, that's where we actually recognize that our intuition, our soul, wants us to do that, to be there, to work on that. So pay attention to what sparks the most joy, the most passion, the most love and great curiosity within your life, and do more of that, because that's what your soul is here, to sharpen up the skills you have, the natural talents you have. Always follow your joy, but don't be afraid to do also the things you're not joyful about. Of course, what we're joyful the most should be our main thing we're doing in our lives. But we need to do also other things. Like, I'm truly not joyful about paying bills and taking care of the paperwork for my company and all other things which are in the background. Sometimes I'm not joyful about answering emails and things like that, because I would rather create and make art, because I love to do that. But I still do those other things. So it's important to understand that if what we are joyful the most is on the first place, everything else will be much easier as well. Even if it's hard, it will be much easier. And still we'll know that, most of the time we're doing something we're really passionate about, so it will raise a lot of our energy. So my friends, you have nothing to worry about. Just make sure that you have a great clarity over what is bringing you or sparking the most joy within you, and that you're doing the most you can about it. Remember in the video about the new moon, I mentioned to you at the end to make a list of what sparks the most harmony in your life. If you did that, it's much easier to understand it, because we have a list what we want to then, and if we truly take a look at that list and we ask ourselves, are those things connected? If I would combine them together, is there a greater meaning why I'm passionate about it? Is there actually a greater meaning my soul already understands why I'm so joyful about it? Because, for example, when I look my life, why I'm so passionate about making art, about painting these interesting ideas and talking about stories and sharing my life's experiences, why I'm so passionate about it? Because I feel deep inside my soul that this is my mission, that I'm here to express myself. I'm here to express the unseen world through imagination and combining ideas, structuring the systems of thoughts together which may help somebody to enlighten their days. And this is why I'm here for. And when I've combined everything that sparks harmony and joy within my life, I've noticed that all those things are coherently connected, and there is a greater meaning. We are joyful about things, about those certain things. So pay attention to that, my friends. And another reminder I want to give you here is that when people are putting you down, it's actually a sign of your increasing success. So this is something we don't understand often, especially when we start walking our own path. People start pulling us down, right? To me, people said, well, to make a living out of art, it's just not possible. You will need to find a plan B. You will need to go to work, and things like that. And I never believed that, because I know I can design my own life. Doesn't matter how things will unfold, I know that it will happen eventually. So when people start pulling you down, it's actually a sign of your increasing success. It's actually a sign that you've decided to put your life into your hands, to get your power back, and you are actually succeeding. When people see that you're doing something differently, they will put you down, because it's hard to comprehend something you don't understand, and most people don't understand what are you doing, so they think there's something wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong with you. You're just following your dreams. It's actually what everybody should do, but most people just don't think that way. So it is a sign of your increasing success. Trust your intuition, trust your heart, and do what is vibing with you, what is resonating with you the most. Always ask your heart, is that the right thing to do? And when your heart says yes, just go all in. And the last thing I want to give you here, another important reminder, is that when you feel most alone, your higher power, the universe, or the source, God, is closest to you. It is actually reminding you that life is too precious to be sad about something that is already fleeting. So the end of a certain chapter will only start another even greater one. And it's time to prepare yourself. Sometimes we feel alone, right? We feel lonely, because we've experienced certain changes, and changes are a natural process of life. So of course we experience certain detachments, emotional detachments. We may lose a friend or a loved one. Sometimes relationships fall apart. Sometimes we lose a certain opportunity. Sometimes we lose money. Sometimes we lose health, or whatever we lose. At some point we feel like we are alone. We are the only ones dealing with it. But then we recognize that there must be a reason that it happened, right? And when we start actually setting bigger questions, like, what can I learn right now? What life right now is teaching me? What it is trying to tell me? We actually recognize that we are in the zone where we are the most closest to that higher power. And if we actually set the right question at those moments, we'll receive answers really immediately. If you were reading books by Neil Donald Walsh, the Conversations with God, remember where he actually started writing? When he was at the bottom. He was homeless, and he started questioning life, why all those things are happening. And at some point he started hearing that voice which started guiding him. And he's not alone. Actually, almost everybody, every great book was written when the writer was at the bottom, felt alone, felt like everything is falling apart. But the interesting connection here is that when we are at the bottom, we always at some point experience that strong sensation of what we need to do, what we need to change. Often people ignore that and they change nothing. But if we truly do what we feel guided to do, so much will change. And this is true, my friends. Actually, I've started painting when I was at the bottom. I felt a deep desire that I need to start painting, and I've started there. So I'm sure that when we feel most alone, when we feel like nothing is working for us, actually that's the time where everything is just preparing you for your next stage, for becoming a you 2.0, for finally starting to walk that new path. Because sometimes we lose ourselves. Sometimes we go into the directions which are not fully aligned with us. And at some point we need that wake-up call. And you know, when we fall down and we feel alone and we feel like everything is falling apart, it's just our wake-up call. So it's never easy, but it always leads us to that greater realization of how incredible those moments actually are. And even when we evolve from that, when we grow from that, and we experience maybe a great abundance and great growth, those moments will always remind us to stay humble, to stay grateful, remember where you come from. And this is to me a beautiful realization and a beautiful connection or reminder for today's message, because 11:11 is always that reminder that we are on the right path, we are evolving, we are in the middle of the greatest breakthrough. And sometimes we just need to have those reminders with us, because sometimes we may be blinded with stressful situations. So we need to learn to calm our minds down, to calm our bodies down, so we can step out of that fight or flight into the rest and rejuvenate from a victim to an observer to a creator. And this is a process. We are jumping from one thing to another often. But I want to remind you that more often, before you become really stressful about something, just pause yourself. Observe yourself. You don't need to react to what's happening in your mind. Just observe it. And when you will fully relax, see what can you do about it. So you will go from a victim to an observer to a creator. So my friends, this is it for today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings and power. I hope you've enjoyed in today's painting transcendence, because it is deeply connected with today's message. And have a magnificent day. Till next time, one love.